Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Around the Table. Welcome to Around the Table. This is a great broadcast that we have lined up for you this evening. Great broadcast we have lined up for you this evening. And we got a question that we're going to ask, and I want to know what you think about it, how you feel about it. And the question is a real simple one, but some people say that it might be a little complicated. Let me get my volume set right here. But some people say it might be a little complicated. But what we're going to ask is where, and I want to know where can black and brown people find justice here in America? Where can black and brown people find justice here in America? That's what I want to know. That's the question I'm going to ask. And the phone lines are open. I'm trying to get a few people to come on with me via the video. I definitely want a few people to come on via the video, but the phone lines are open. You can call in 678-381-1973 with everything that's going on and how it's going today. I want to ask the question, where? And you tell me, where can black and brown people find justice here in America? I've been looking for that place. And hopefully some of y'all will be able to tell me exactly where black and brown people can find justice here in America. I've been looking and I've been looking and I've been looking everywhere. I've been to a lot of places, a lot of cities, and a lot of states here in the United States of America, and I have not found that one place, that one city or that one state. We have a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Sherry Saunders from Alabama, sir.
Hey, Sherry, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to hear in Texas somebody has finally woke up and decided to take a look at the evidence for a man who has spent a lifetime in jail for a
Yes,
crime he quite possibly has not committed.
exactly. Sherry, I wish I could get you on the video. Are you on Facebook right now?
I came off of Facebook to talk to you, sir. I just got out of bed. I don't know you want me on video. I woke up from a nap.
Good. And see,
My hair might be on one side of my face, sir.
no, you're fine. You're fine. But my thing is, I want to know the question, and this is people might say this is a question that's outdated or whatever. It should have been asked a long time ago, but we're asking it today. And I want to ask you the question and open up the phone lines for other people to call in. And I want people to, if you want to be a part of the video, we're actually doing a television side as well today. If you want to be a part of that, just send me an inbox and let me know, or say, Raheen, I am available. Write that in the box, and I'll send you the link where you can actually come on with us on the television side. But my question is this: so where where can black and brown people find justice here in America? What city or state? Where have they hid? They must have hid. They must have hid something from us. They don't hid something from us, and I want to know where is it. So where can black and brown people find justice here in America? Tell me that.
Well, amazingly, you would think that you would find justice in a town ran just about solely from black and brown, but it has been my experience that even in the predominantly African towns,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any Latino off towns offhand, so I'm not in the West, so I
Mm-hmm.
can't speak to the brown
Uh-huh.
color. But when it comes to African American, I feel confident enough with the work and the experience that I've had in about 25 years of doing what I've been doing. I can say that I was sort of shocked to find out that even in a predominantly African American town,
Mm-hmm.
that African Americans can't find justice in their own courts when it's their
Exactly.
own people sitting behind the bench.
Wow.
So to answer your question, I don't think that justice exists in this country
Mm-hmm.
that can be obtained outside of a heavy checkbook, that a check can be written that it will not bounce.
Mm-hmm.
And so if folks don't understand what I'm saying, let me be more blunt. I don't think in this justice there can be any justice, or in this country, I don't think there can be any justice obtained outside of giving an attorney, be it a court appointed or one that you bought yourself. Unless you
Mm-hmm.
can buy your way out of court, you can't receive justice, because justice is not meant the way that our legal system is currently ran and apparently set up. It is not about justice. It is about, can you give this person enough money to look over what you did, and then be able to give that person enough money to look over the fact you're giving this person enough money. You got to make sure that the judge is happy, the DA is happy,
Mm-hmm.
your attorney is happy, And if there is a victim to a crime, you got to take care of the victim too. So that's not justice to me. That is how big is your bank account, and if it is big enough, then you may receive what you call justice.
Mm-hmm.
But the lady that has that blindfold over her eyes and is supposed to teach us a lesson that justice is blind and that it should be only a certain way. It should be by a law that was written to protect rights, which is not the way that it is.
Mm-hmm.
I've never found that is the way that it was. Justice, I don't believe, can be found in any court in America, no matter what color you are, unless you come with a bank account or a checkbook that doesn't bounce.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that's my answer.
Okay, now I want to ask the question. Let me see. I'm talking to. I got a fella. He's actually ready to come on video with us. So Donna, all you have to do, man, is just follow that link. Follow that link, and it'll bring you right to me. So, do you think a black or a brown person would have a little more difficult of a time, more difficult of a time trying to acquire justice here in this country, regardless of the city and or state? Sherry?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the answer was question was someone else. Yes, I believe that they're going to have a difficult time obtaining justice in this country. The reason why is because it's stacked against them.
In 2019, soon to be 2020, are we still up against a situation where we can't find justice in this country? Haven't we grown as a nation? Have we not grown as a nation to the point where it will be equal across the board?
If we had grown as a nation to the point where it was equal across the board, it would not take the intercedence of celebrities that come in and advocate for people that have been convicted of crimes that perhaps they never should have been convicted of to begin with, in order to build a groundswell of support that causes pressure in the courts to cause a decision to be made, which is what I believe has happened in Texas today. I believe the outside lookies who came in and gave this man their time and effort to advocate on his behalf is the only reason why, in his case, currently, there's a stay of execution. This man is asking for a new trial. His allegations is that his first trial was wrought with lies. The witnesses were stacked against him, lied against him. He was railroaded, and I don't doubt it. There's numerous studies that have been done by prestigious people and universities that speak about the fact that on death row specifically, there are innocent people serving time on death row, and our state courts and our federal courts just blink a blind eye to it. They do not care. They think that the number is mitigatable because it is not them sitting in that cell. So at this time, no, I don't think we have reached a point where at least we're not hanging people 20 minutes after we arrest them. At least we're not dragging them under a pickup truck before we even get a chance to arrest them. I think that has lessened, although there has been reports of things happening like that. But exactly. No, I absolutely do not believe that justice is where we want it to be as a society. I want to know if I'm arrested for a crime that I have an outside shot at least getting a decent attorney and at least getting an impartial jury. But what I know to be true is the attorney, even if you pay for your attorney, your defense attorney, he is a part of a crowd that is already stacked against you. So unless you have enough money to buy your way out of the problem that you have gotten yourself into, you have no hope in this country of receiving the honest justice that we expect, that honest justice that we were told existed. That they tell us that exists only so that we don't riot in the streets. We have a false sense of security because someone told us that it existed, and we hope like hell they're telling us the truth. And then we find out on that last moment, at that last day, that it was a lie again. It was a lie all along. And now you've lost your family, your friends, your bank account. No one wants to come to your aid because they're worried about somebody looking at them too. Unless you get some famous folks from maybe California or New York or from wherever that want to come and take a look at your case because they want to intercede on your behalf because they know that it exists, and they know that they're the only ones with the power and the notoriety to get someone to take a look at your case. As the example of this gentleman in Texas right now who's taking a deep breath because he gets another dose.
Exactly. Because I'm going to tell you something. They were about and they were ready to go ahead on and take him out of here, put him on out of here. They were ready to do so. We have another call. I think it's Leonard. Leonard, are you there?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hey, doing well, Leonard. I'm glad you called us, man. Look here. We're asking the question, where can black and brown people find justice here in America?
Well, first of all, we need to change the whole concept. It's not about where you find justice, it's where justice should be.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why we do not have justice right now is because a lack of civic duty. If you do not participate in a government process, you will be taken advantage of by that process. It's terrible, the fact that we have racism that's playing such a huge role in the history of the court system. They built the rules that we still use a lot today. Mm-hmm. Yes, we do change and tweak them from time to time, but if you never seize the power, you will never have what you think you should have. And so another point, we need to be realistic. Justice doesn't change because the color of the people change. Justice is not going to change by giving people favors. And justice doesn't change by being lenient on one group of individuals and non-lenient on another. At the end of the day, it should be fair and equal.
Fair and impartial.
Now, you would, and impartial. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people would say, yeah, that's a great idea until you get in trouble. Mm-hmm. That's my problem usually with people criticizing justice. Does justice change when you get in trouble, or do you really want equal justice? Mm-hmm. And it has, and the thing about it is, a lot of people wouldn't even like it, mm-hmm. because you know what it looks like.
What's that?
Looks like mandatory. It looks like mandatory sentencing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It looks a lot like, one, we have our Bill of Rights. We need to expedite that process.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Good deal.
And we need to look for more efficient ways on handling things. Mm-hmm. But you have to elect people to do that.
Yes, you do.
We have not been electing people interested in that. What we see now is since the civil rights movement, is we see a focus on criminal justice right now, which is really being motivated by economic interest as opposed to humane interest.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Let me do this. We have Curtis and Cassandra in with us on the television side. I'm getting a little feedback from one of y'all's line. I don't know. Maybe y'all need to turn your volume down and get some headphones. That way, it'll eliminate that little feedback that we have, because I definitely want to make sure everybody can hear what's being said. But Cassandra, let me come to you, and we have somebody else on the phone line. I'm gonna go to the phone line in just 1 second. But Cassandra, where can black and brown people find justice here in America?
Well, when you guys find out, you need to tell me, because I have not been able to see it, especially in the justice system that we have in place right now. Okay. We are not being treated fairly in any. If we're honest, we're not being treated equally or fairly in any area at this point. Mm-hmm. So it's when y'all find out where to find it, please let me know. Because I don't see it. And I work in civil and human rights every day. I don't see it.
And it's like I say, it's very well hidden. If it is there, it's very well hidden. Curtis, what do you say to that, man? Where can the black or brown people find justice here in America?
Cassandra is dead on point. Cassandra is dead on point. It man, listen, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Mm-hmm. It ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? Even if you are a billionaire and you're African American, and this American culture that we in right now, this American society that we in right now, there's still no real justice for you, man. If you want to tell me that justice is fair and equal, then explain to me how it is that we got a president that has violated every single tax law that's on the books. I'm not saying tax laws that was just passed last year. I'm talking about tax laws that's been passed, that's been running our system for years. This guy has violated them for a number of years, well over 40 years, right? And we send Wesley Snipes to prison for 2 years on tax evasion after he done paid the taxes. Explain that. Explain how that works to me. If you come to me and you tell me you owe me this amount of money or you going to jail, I take you to court and I lose. Once I take you to court and I lose, I can say whatever I want to say, but at the end of the day, you know what? I lost. There you go. That'll give you $3 million. But I still go to jail, man. I still go to jail, man. I need someone to explain to me how that works. I paid you your money. You beat me in a court of law. Even if the courts were stacked, you beat me in a court of law. I pay your money, but I still go to jail. The prison industrial complex is nothing but a system for those in charge to make more money, for those in charge to get slave labor, for those in charge to oppress the mind of the oppressed. That's what it is, man. That's what it is. And the more people waking up and the more people getting abreast with what's really going on in American society and American culture, and people starting to wake up. And I'm not just talking about the brown. I'm gonna keep it real with you, because you got some of our Caucasian American bros that's looking at the plight against the black man and they saying, hey man, that ain't right. I'm sorry, that ain't right. Because if that was new people, we'd be doing this, we'd be doing that, we'd be getting this, we'd be getting that. And what's crazy, look, I don't want to take up a lot of the time, but what's crazy is every time they get a new right, every time those same Caucasian American brothers that understand the plight get a new right given to them, is given to them through a door and or a window that is open by the African American community. So then they get this new right where the door's been open, right? But then when the right goes into effect, the door is closed for the African American community. Huh? Explain to me right here how that works. I'm gonna hit you with I'm gonna hit you with Cario saying. You know what little Cario say? Daddy, yeah. How that work, man?
What do you do that at?
What do you do that at, Daddy?
Exactly. Let me keep this thing going. I think we have Tawanda. Tawanda, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Hey, ask the question, man. Where can black and brown people find justice here in America? Where can black and brown people find justice here in America? Tawanda, what do you say to that?
When you sent me this, I thought it was a trick question. At first, I'm not even gonna lie. I thought it was a trick question because it's just non-existent. And one of the things as a journalist, this is probably my favorite topic because I get to write about the judicial misconduct within the Black community, especially in sentencing in our African American community. Okay, this is some of the things that I get to specifically point out in the justice system. But like I tell people, and I've been saying, I've been screaming it for years, we are moving backwards and not forward if we don't fix these laws and amend these laws. And this is where we fail. We got to understand that when these laws was created, we weren't even considered citizens. We had zero rights. So until we amend or modify or demolish any of these laws, specifically the qualified immunity law, that has to go. That is the absolute license that they get to kill us in the street. Anytime that you have some of the horrific cases that I get to work on, like the Javon Robinson shot 76 times in his own home by police and no charges. So anytime you have anybody, Arthur Blanton, that was a blind man that was shot and no justice, or you have Amaya Braxton that is getting off a school bus and is ran over in her own driveway and killed on her front lawn, and then you have two Caucasian people, kids that was killed, and they received justice, and the only person out the three that didn't receive justice is this little black girl. Can't tell me, and we have the same justice system as a Caucasian person. We just don't, and we have to fix these laws. And I'm telling you, even the Aaron Hatcher, who was Ryan's son, who was killed allegedly, we'll say for legal purposes, so we'll get in no trouble, but was killed at school by his special needs kids. We just don't have this white privilege as anybody else, and it shows in the judicial system when you have people that have that's going to jail for 30 and 40 years for a crime they didn't commit. Or I know someone right now that just had got natural life for a dime bag of weed. So this is what we deal with. But I'm telling you, we're working backwards, because what we need to do, we need to have people that are really willing to step out on the front line and help change these laws. Because if we don't do that, then it's not need talking about it. Because if we can't change qualified immunity laws, there's no need talking about it. Because right there, until we fix that, they're going to keep killing us in the streets. They're going to, because they have a license and they have a loophole to do so. But you got to realize these laws haven't been changed since we have became citizens, since we're supposedly have some rights. We don't have the same luxury because of those laws.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's good. We got another caller from the 678 area code. 678, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, good evening, y'all. Toya T back again.
Toya,
hey.
What's going on, Toya, with the T? Good to have you. We asking the question. Hey, doing good. We asking the question. We're asking the question, where can black and brown people find justice here in America? Where can black and brown people find justice here in America? Toya, what do you say to that?
And it seems like black and brown people can't find justice in the world. It seems like not only in America, goodness gracious. Mm-hmm. You know? But it's like, I'm always talking to the Lord, and it was like the Lord told me something the other day. He said, Toya, you know what? He said, if you were in the jungle, you would still have to train your children how to watch out for the lion, how to pick the fruit, how to do this, how to do that. And the big problem on what's going on with y'all down there, you're training. You know what I'm saying? Not only for the police officers and their mistreatment, but even for us when we know what we're up against. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And again, all of us are getting killed innocently, again, which is something that's been going around for a long time. However, I had to have a conversation with my nephew. Be careful of the situations you put yourself in. Not all of these situations are situations where people are putting themselves there, but we just got to be mindful of what reality is. So we can't get out of pocket with them, because we know the mark on us. We know how it is and how it's been our entire lives. So we got to be strategic. You know what I'm saying? We got to fight for justice, like she just said, by the law. Make amendments. We got to assume these offices. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, this is something we're used to. This is something that our ancestors been through. This ain't nothing new. Let's just put it like that. The only thing that we need to make new is actually taking hold of that and claiming our rightful places. And that means we got to take these positions in office, because they're not going to do right. Whoever ain't going to do right got to go. Mm-hmm. So it's up to us to stand up and make these changes, because it's like us as black and brown people, since we're the ones uncomfortable, it's time for us to start making other people feel uncomfortable. So we got to start changing amendments, taking stands, taking kneels, peaceful, of course. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we still want to defend ourselves, but it's really time for us to make our voices be heard and become active in attaining our positions of authority.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Sherry, what do you say to that, man? Here in America, they've said, and we set the atmosphere, whereas there is really no place here in America. And Toya, want to look, Toya, mute your phone for me, Toya. Okay, and she went a little further, saying that in the world. So where is it? Where can we go? Where is that place, Sherry?
I wished I had said the world. That was brilliant on her part. One of your callers, Twanda, and I have in the past worked on stories together. And just the stories that we work, they could have been African American, they could have been Caucasian, and it didn't matter. The reason why me and Twanda would be talking about a story is that there was an injustice across this world. The history of the world, and I'm not an expert on the world's history, except what I know. But I don't know where you would go find justice except in perhaps, and this is going to sound crazy, the Amazon jungle, or perhaps some tribes in Africa and the Native American, where I heard that if someone in the village has done something wrong, say they have committed a crime in that village, that the village then takes that person and places them in a circle surrounded by other villagers, and that the villagers then talk about the good things that this person has done. In a sense, they use positive feedback to want to destroy what was negative in that person to begin with, that may have caused them to create a situation that got them standing in that circle where their friends and their family had to look at them in the face and say, brother or sister, I remember that time that you gave me something, or you fed me, or you helped me, and I don't understand why you're doing this today. And apparently it works. I read that, and I have that's not the first time I've read situations like that. But to answer your question, that probably there in those places where people truly understand what justice is, and that justice in their communities, in their tribal lands, isn't about what the fine is, what a mandatory sentence is. It is about the restoration of the Lord Jesus, or the restoration of the soul and the spirit in that person, so that the act itself doesn't exist any longer, so that the person gets over whatever craziness he had or she had to commit something against a brother and a sister. So that's my answer. I don't know, except but for those the oldest of our civilizations on the earth, where these people go back to a shamanistic religion and they use actual sense in trying to find justice for their society. Because if it hadn't worked for thousands of years, perhaps hundreds of thousands of years, depending on how you want to look at things, if it hadn't worked, those people wouldn't be doing it today.
Cassandra, what's on your heart right now?
Okay, so on tomorrow I'll be in New Jersey for another film festival, talking about Moore's Ford Bridge lynching, of course. And this is a case where we're still trying to get justice, and that this, I guess this is my issue. Why is it that we are just about the only group of people that we have to fight for years and years and years to get simple justice, something that can be handled by a court case, and we're still having to fight to get that? We're actually possibly getting ready to go to the Supreme Court to have transcripts released, a grand jury transcript released from the murders of 5 African Americans in 1946.
Wow.
And we are possibly having to go to the Supreme Court. Tell me, why would we have to go through all of that just to get justice for people that have been wronged in this country? And somebody mentioned about a billionaire. Let me tell you something. What's that boy named? Jay-Z is a billionaire, they say. Right now, if Jay-Z drove down the wrong neighborhood in the wrong car in Atlanta or anywhere else in this country, he would be pulled over and possibly hurt if he doesn't do exactly what he's told to do. So money, the fact that we do right, the fact that we have money, the fact that we have position means absolutely nothing to people that believe that we are inferior to them. And there are people that still believe right now in the city where I'm at, Decatur, Georgia, and Atlanta, Georgia, believe that Black people are still inferior to them. So first we have to change the mindset, which I don't believe a lot of these people, their minds will never change about people of color. I don't care what you do. I don't care how smart we are, how much money we have, how upright we are in our communities. They will never see us as anything but niggas. Let's just be plain on that. I do this and have done it for years. That's the way a lot of people look at us now and will forever look at us. So I think for us to unrealistically think that we're going to find justice, total justice in this country, I think we're fooling ourselves. I really do.
Would it be better for us to find another place, or like a lot of people say, like my uncle used to tell me all the time, man, I ain't going to win, man. I built this country. We built this country. So do you think we need to find another place, leave it behind and go start over? Or what do you think we should do?
Hell no. Excuse my language. HELL no. Hell no. We didn't ask to come here. You brought us here. We belong here now, just like the Indians belonged here when a lot of these people got here and took over. No, we don't need to go anywhere. If they don't like it, they need to go. That's my answer. I got the answer. If you don't like it, bruh, sis, get the hello. It goes both ways. It goes both ways.
Cassandra, will you tell us exactly how you feel? Curtis, what's on your heart, girl?
You know I will. You know I will. One thing you cannot say about me, I'm not fake, and I'm not going to try to cover or sugarcoat anything for anybody. If it's wrong, it's wrong. If I'm doing it and it's wrong, it's wrong. If you're doing it and it's wrong, it's still wrong.
What's Cassandra?
I love Cassandra. I love Cassandra, and I don't even know her, but I love her.
Exactly. Hey, that's my sister right there. That's my sister, boy. That's the third pastor. That's the third pastor. Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
You know what, man? When you live your life according to a lie, and you establish your foundation according to a lie, when you gain your financial capital according to a lie, when the intellectual capital that's taught to the masses is according to a lie, when you maladaptively treat given segments in your society based on a lie, you will never, ever have justice. Ever. You'll never, ever have true justice. So the fact that we got those folks, because we got some folks out here, African American, that seem to think that once they hit a certain dollar amount, or once they get a certain position in a program or in an organization, they seem to think that the rules of old that governed them when they was living in Flag House projects or Lafayette projects or Murphy Homes projects or Lexington Terrace projects or Somerset projects, Latrobe project, they seem to think that those rules don't apply anymore. Nah. Everything about the American experiment is based on a lie.
Mm.
That's not to say that our forefathers didn't think about, here's the modern utopia that we want to see, and eventually we'll get there. I'm not going to take that from them. But what I'm also going to say is, let's tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those signatures on that Declaration of Independence were Negroes? We want to go there. Let's tell the truth that don't nobody want to tell. How many of those signatures on the Declaration of Independence were Negroes? It's a few. Why is it that they took the $2 bill out of circulation? It's a Negro on the back of the bill. He's sitting dead center, dead in the middle. How come we have, by far, one of the greatest known structures of government in the world, in the history of the world? The only thing that beats us out is the folks in Kemet, the Nubian people, and maybe, and this is a far shot, the Romans, maybe, who are Negroes themselves. However, the whole foundation and structure of American government was set up by Mr. Henson, who was a Negro. A Negro. Now, when the information was there for you to see, when the truth was there for you to see, nobody touched it. But soon as more folks started reading the truth, all of a sudden, I watched this maturate, bro. Like, I watched it change right in front of my eyes. I'm literally sitting down on Google, researching it, because I'm like, hold on. You know, I'm a bruh. So it's certain things about American culture, American government, American society that I should know. I'm mandated to know. So I'm literally watching it. I'm reading it. I'm doing the research, and I'm watching them change the research while I'm sitting there reading it.
Say that.
I'm watching them change the man's face while they reading it, while I'm reading it, bro. How is it that your greatest minds on a musical level, they tell you everything about how great they was. They show you the statue of them. They got them up in the museums and all that, but they never tell you that he was a Moor. The first time we ever in modern American society, for real, ever heard about a Moor was when we sat down and read Robin Hood. Yeah. It was a simple description for who the Moors was. The man with the painted face. A Negro. One of the greatest minds, one of the greatest musical minds to ever come through any kind of music. I don't care what it is. Gospel, classical, rap, rock, blues, jazz, what's the thing? Whatever that bluegrass.
Mm-hmm.
He was a Negro. I mean, of course, if we go according to our law, because our law says that if you have one drop of African blood in you, you are Negro. So I don't care if that one drop was 6 generations ago. You have one drop of Negro blood in you. That means that you are Negro. People need to stop telling these lies to make themselves seem like they're greater than the other. You're not.
Good day. Let's keep it going, Curtis. Got to keep it going, brother. Definitely got to keep this thing going. Actually, we got another call. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, are you there?
Tucson, man.
Donna, what's going on, man?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Man, they fired up, man. They fired up around here, man. They fired up, man.
I hear.
Sir. Yes, sir, man. This topic here, man. We're talking about. Huh?
Oh, shit.
We're saying we're asking the question: where can black and brown people find justice here in America? Sherry, coming to you next.
Man, I was listening and I'm like everybody else. You know, I do the best I can in finding my own justice.
Mm.
You know, I don't. It's not. I try to stay out of the limelight. Try to stay to myself. Try to stay out of trouble. And you know, all I got to do is be pulled over one time, and life gonna change for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way it is.
Exactly.
So, man, I hadn't found it yet. Matter of fact, you go in any entity in life, and there is no justice. That's just my opinion.
Good deal. Good deal. Sherry, what's on you? We're gonna go on this story right here. Sherry, we're gonna go to you, and then after Sherry, we're going to Toya. Then we're gonna go to Tawanda.
Sherry? I don't believe that if we continue to play the game the way that the game has been written to be played, that justice will ever be found here in America.
Thank you, Sherry.
That spoke about Jay-Z and the bad neighborhood. They're absolutely right. In fact, he doesn't even have to be in a bad neighborhood. If he drives through Birmingham, Alabama, and he sniffs when a cop asks for that license, the cop's going to scream he saw a gun, and Jay-Z's going to get shot 3 times. And then when the investigation that's taking place, that's going to take place by the department of the officer who shot that guy 3 times, they're going to say that he was within departmental regulations and procedures to shoot that guy because he sneezed. And as long as the police officer felt like a danger was inexistent, then the police officer was free to shoot 3 times into Jay-Z, who only had a sinus infection. You're not going to find justice. There is a shooting right now out of Madison County in Huntsville, took place about a month ago. A man and his wife and his kids were there at a fitness, one of those fitness places where you show up and do your Taebo and you're working out. He was waiting to pick up somebody that was inside trying to lose some weight. Meanwhile, while the woman inside is jazzercising, he was getting shot by 5 police officers sitting in the parking lot. Now, so far, the wife of the man said he never had a gun in his hand. They have not released any of the video, but the first thing that came out in the news within 5 minutes of the shooting, when they put their breaking news report out there on the Facebook, there's guns everywhere. Police saw guns here, guns there. Well, the wife who was in the vehicle said there was no gun to be that she was there with. The witnesses that were televising this, and they put the video up on YouTube, are so far away you can't see anything and can't see exactly what's happening. But we have another case of somebody getting shot because a police officer walks up to a vehicle, screams gun, and then unloads bullets. And so the story will not be that this man, it didn't matter if he had a gun or didn't have a gun. The story is always going to be that he got shot and the police officer was in departmental regulations to do the shooting that he done. This happens all over America. I can't tell you how many times Tawanda and her organizations put stories out about these situations and how many times it has been found that a police officer made a decision in a split second. He received training at an academy, and the academy training was this. If you believe you are under attack, if you believe that there's a danger to your health personally, then you are free to shoot and kill anybody that you want, no matter what color they are. And that's I guess, my opinion. That I don't know that we'll ever find justice the way that it's set up, because justice isn't for us. Justice is for our captors, our captives. Justice is for the judge. Justice is for the jailers who want to feel safe in a jail. So they only put people who can't pay their debts or people who smoke marijuana in a prison, because you don't want to put the mean guys in jail, because that could put the jailers at risk. So there's justice. That's the way I see it.
Wow. And let me get this. We got a few more minutes before we get out of here, man. But I want to make sure that everybody share the broadcast. Make sure you share this broadcast. Share it on your page and share it and invite people to come in and listen to what we're talking about, because this is a very important topic. This is a very important topic. Tawanda, what's on your heart? And LaToya, coming to you next. Tawanda, what's on your heart?
Sherry's absolutely right. We do some great work and we team up a lot of times. But I think when we talk about justice, I think that we just don't understand the law enough, specifically if we think that we're going to get some justice. First of all, a lot of people don't even know that we don't even have control of our own self or our own kids. We have zero rights, and it's not talked about enough. If you have a state issue or your kids have a state issue, birth certificate or social security card, you have no full custody of your own kid or your own self. That's state property. So these are some of the things that we need to learn how to get
our own property, which is our own being and our own children, back 100% because we own nothing. We're all property of the state when we set up these things. But for instance, let's talk about what me and Sherry, one of the biggest things that we teamed up is the Mariah Mack case, which was a special needs girl with a rare genetic condition who was held kidnapped medically by the CDC, Atlanta Children's Hospital in BFAX, and she was murdered in front of our eyes because of a rare genetic condition where they are making billions of dollars off of this little girl's organs that they illegally removed. And then when they had whatever they needed to have, they killed her. The judges put a gag order. We couldn't talk about the case. And so they wind up offering her millions of dollars to walk away from her own child. All we wanted was Nye back before she passed away. Unfortunately, we lost that fight, but we don't know enough. These people, you have to understand what you're dealing against when you're dealing against these judges, the CDC in the state. To cover, they will kill you and they will kill your kids. And you know, going back and looking through her medical records, we see where the judges forged signatures, where they forged her signatures. So they do what they want. So we have to really, really understand the law because we don't. We have to know and understand. And we don't have no control over our own self, our own kids. So when people say that that me and the father have joint custody, no, you have no custody. We have no custody of anything, and not even our own being if those documents are in place. So that's just what I'm saying. We need to properly understand the law.
Good deal. Tawanda, I'm sorry, Latoya, what's on your heart?
Yeah, see, as we hear these stories, right, and as people, if we were to start to erupt and start to just carry on in the streets, then they would think we were savages. But see, these are stories that, I mean, this is why they got to keep us scared, because the outrage, if we were to act over the outrage behind these stories, I mean, it would be unbelievable. You know, Sherry was saying something about the officer. All they got to say is, you know, hey, somebody pulled out a gun. You know what I mean? And she's absolutely, you know, right on that. Like, that's what they have to say to justify whatever their action is. But we got to remember that these officers are human beings. You know what I'm saying? Who choose and make conscious decisions to allow a badge motivate their actions with taking lives. You know what I'm saying? And they need to be held accountable. So we as people, before we begin to erupt in the streets, because the more of this that goes on, it feels like that's what's going to wind up happening, because I know as we're all listening here, it's too much. Because there is these issues, because we do have people in authority who are abusing it, who are doing right things. This is going to wind up erupting, and it's not going to be really good, because I know everybody's feeling right now, you know, but we have to start holding people accountable. We have to start formulating our own defense. We can't leave it up to nobody else. You know, government structure, judge, this, that, and third. Yeah, we as the public, as the people, we have to start mobilizing countless effort to be able to combat, fight, remove, change the people that are in office, the people that we are trying to corrupt. Everybody needs to tell, because she's right. You can lose your life. You know what I'm saying? They will come kill you. But we must take this seriously and find some kind of way to mobilize and remove those that are corrupt, those that have these tendencies. And there's a lot of them. We're going to be surprised. There's a lot of them, and they're great pretenders. So it's really going to be hard. And with everything we're talking about right now, human trafficking, sex trafficking, mistreatment with officers, I mean, we really are up against a tough fight, and we're going to have to start mobilizing ways to where we can motivate and navigate through these things, still try to seek what justice we can, and still make it away alive, period.
Good deal, good deal. Curtis, you back with us? Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. Curtis? Curtis, you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. What was your last question, Raheem? I heard it, but I want to make sure I heard it right.
No. I'll just ask you what's on your heart about what's being said right now.
You know, man, I'm gonna keep it real. My sisters, man, they dead on. And I'm speaking this from the perspective of, you know what? I ain't always been right with my sisters, man. And when I say my sisters, I got a Caucasian American sister on here.
Absolutely.
And she dead on point. And what bothers me with the whole scheme of things is, guess what? They're gonna come at her even harder than they're gonna come at us. Because she see the plight. She knows that, boy, man, what y'all doing ain't right, man. It ain't right. No kind of way can you flip it, spin it, rub it, slap it down. It ain't right. I'm just saying, sometimes when I think about it, right here, I realize.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. What's on? Wait a minute, man. Wait a minute, brother.
Bill DeVoe. So now you know.
You got on me this morning.
I'm saying he gonna come and do some rub it up, slap. What gospel station, man?
Wait, Raheem, come on now, brother. Come on now. When you realistically think about it, right? What has been done to us? It has been slapped, flipped, rubbed down. Hit the point where we like, oh no.
And other people talking about, oh no, oh my goodness.
Okay.
You have to mute your mic, brother.
Let me use something that we all probably can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure the ladies on this panel got sons or nephews or maybe even nieces that play football, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure me and you, both of us, we played football. I'm pretty sure Donald played football. So
not flashlight ain't playing football. Not flashlight.
Did you really bring back that flashlight thing? Oh, yeah,
flashlight. Not flashlight. Flashlight ain't playing that.
Yeah, go ahead, cousin.
Check me out, man. So look.
Mm-hmm.
So we all playing on the same.
Hold on, cuz. I can't just let that go. Man, look here. Are you drinking out of a Mickey Mouse cup, man?
Nah, man. It's got a smiley face. It's got a oh my God. Oh, they're really trying to do that.
Yeah, man. Go ahead. What you say?
So look, right. Check this out. So we all playing on the team. We are deemed by those who have not seen us play. Yeah, it's Kenny, baby. Please get it. It's nephew. Okay, so we are deemed. Hold on, Kay. We are deemed by those as the worst team ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
We deemed by those as the worst team ever. So now we get on the field, and now they're not the worst team ever. But now, guess what? A first down ain't 10 yards no more. All of a sudden, in the middle of the game, first down become 20 yards. All of a sudden, in the middle of the game, now the goalposts don't just stay still. It's moving back and forward, side to side, side to side. All of a sudden now, guess what? A touchdown ain't worth 7 points when we score it. It's only worth 5.
Mm-hmm.
You can't keep changing the game and expecting for people not to say, hey, hold on, man. You ain't going to keep changing this game on me like something is okay. What's going on, family? You're not going to do that to me. Like, come on. It's going to come a time where the people they're going to raise up and they're going to say, look, man, hold on. I done played by these rules. I won the game by those rules. You gave me a new set of rules. I won the game by those rules. Then you changed them over here. I won the game by those rules. And then you got a sect in American culture that's setting back that don't have to go by the new rules. But guess what? They even setting back saying, no, man, you know what? If that was me, that ain't right. That ain't right. And what they doing ain't right. And I feel for them because just like we got Sister Sherry on here, there's another young lady that be coming across Facebook. I want to say her name is Gracia, right? She's a Caucasian American sister from Louisiana. And I pray for them because I know that they're in places. Sister Sherry's in Alabama. Listen, man, I am the product of a grandmother who was the daughter of ex-slaves. She told me the stories, man. So I can only imagine what Sherry could possibly face when those folk that really don't care for us and don't like us recognize that, guess what? She knows the plot. She knows the plight. And she ain't with it.
Good deal. Good deal.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. Now we got Wink with us. Wink, hey, how you doing, sir? How you doing this evening?
Hey, good evening, everyone on the line.
Good deal. Well, we're talking about, we're asking the question, where can black and brown people find justice here in America? Where can black and brown people find justice here in America?
That's a real good question. And, you know, after being in law enforcement for over, well, I would say my entire adult life, that's a good question. And it's our criminal justice system really never worked in our favor from the start. And even with black and brown people on the force, we still see our young men being shot down in the streets and nothing being done about it. And even when I worked in law enforcement, when I seen something wrong, I stood up and reported it, which now the world is getting to know which certain terminologies are, such as whistleblower and things of that sort. I was a whistleblower, and they came after me like I committed a crime when I was reporting crime. But where can we find justice? I mean, if there's another spaceship going to another planet, probably we could find it there.
And see that, Wink, I'm gonna tell you something. That's powerful, because you was in law enforcement for as long as you can remember. You were in law enforcement, so you knew how this thing was set up, and you knew what was going on. So let me ask you this question right here. Because of the fact that you were in law enforcement and you knew what was going on and you knew how this thing was playing itself out, did you see some cases? Now, what city were you in law enforcement? Let's establish that for the audience. What city?
New York.
New York. Okay, you were in New York. How much injustice? How much injustice did you see in the streets of New York while you was walking out there that you knew it, and it actually led you to report it because you knew it wasn't right?
Well, it's all the time, but it's with different administrations, and it's to the point now with this administration we have now. It's the snake is all the way up at the top. So when the snake is bad, that information goes out, and so now everybody is loose. So they know there's not going to be no real credibility out there. If you do something wrong, you're going to be taken care of. You know, before they had to take care of it and make sure they dot their I's and cross their T's. You don't have to do that no more. And I mean, at least you may have had a good chance in the courts, but today you don't have no chances in that court. And I sit in a lot of courtrooms for the last 10 years, and what I witnessed from the way these courts are being handled, there's no justice being done. Even if you have an attorney.
Absolutely.
Hey, Raheem, here former police, right?
Yes.
Hey, bro, let me ask you a question, man, because you was in New York. So can you break down for our listeners and our watchers, our viewers, right? When you hear cats talk about, oh, we got to put a body on a body. Do you remember hearing that saying?
Well, see, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was in the New York State Police. Also, I finished up my time in the New York City Department of Corrections, which I've seen everything.
Right.
So, with the terminology, you got to put a body on a body. That's like going back to street justice.
Bingo. And Raheem, this is what they was doing here in Baltimore. Let's say a young cat get killed on my corner out here, right? And they don't know who done it. Right.
Okay.
So that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna look at the bill of all the cats that just came home. And let's say a cat just came home and he known to catch assault charges or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They might go snatch him up, bro.
Yeah.
And throw that body right on his ticket. They know he
Mhm.
poor. They know he can't. It's crazy, man. They know he can't defend himself. They know he poor. They're gonna give him the worst public pretender that they can give him. The public pretender gonna tell him the plea,
Mhm.
take the plea, take the 20-year plea. So the cat saying, okay, 120 years or 20 years. Oh, if I get 20, estate time, so I can probably do 10 or 12, be uptown and be on probation for 7, because they're gonna make sure I have, at least 1 year step where I might have to be in a halfway house. So he's balancing 13 years up against life without the chance of parole. What you think he's gonna take, Raheem?
Wow.
Right, and that's the
Wow.
sad part that happens every day. It's still happening now. There is no best of two evils. You got two evils lined up against you from the start. And with the Miranda warnings, when they tell you if you can't afford an attorney, one will be afforded for you, that's a misnomer, because as we know, there's nothing free. And time is money. So when they give you time, that's money. And we know these penal systems is nothing about a big business.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Tawanda, what's on your heart right now?
You got some of my favorite people up on here, Sherry and Donald. That's my people on here.
Exactly.
They're not people, but yeah, I mean, I think that it takes shows, like this, and exposing the corruption and talking about it. And we don't have enough people, unfortunately, to stand up. And unfortunately, people don't care until it affects them or their immediate family. And that's what we really, really want to change in 2020. We need people to stand up, because we can, even though we're at an injustice and it takes time, we can pit pressure. Look at Rodney Reed. We was really running out of time. His death, the judge signed his death warrant the other day. So I thought that we ran out of time, and then boom, he's not going to be executed on the 20th. Just because of the pressure, because of the phone calls, because of all these things that we had that went to national news, that we called all the governors, we called all the White House, we called the senators, we put all this pressure, and the Satania Brown, I think that she killed her rapist, essentially, who got all this time. We advocated and we fought in her clemency. She received clemency. So we have to do these things. We have to team up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think that a lot of times we're divided in everything that we do, from organizations to color to religion to all these things, and that's what we need to focus on. Not being, because Sherry stands with me and I stand with her, and we have the biggest impact standing together and fighting. We have the most reach.
To an automatic voice message system.
Go ahead. I'm trying to call Leonard back. But absolutely. And see, that's what we're talking about right now. There's a lot of things that's going on, man. But I really want to know, and we have to actually do this again, because I want to be respectful of everybody's time. Don't want to keep you too long. But my thing is, where can Black and brown people find justice here in America? Where can Black and brown people find justice here in America? Sherry, what's on your heart right now?
Well, you keep this going.
I mean, if y'all got a little more time, we'll keep this going.
I feel, and Tawanda knows I've done this, somehow because I'm white, I feel like I have to apologize for the bullshit that has took place outside of my purview, outside of my view. I wasn't involved in choking out a man in New York City for selling a cigarette, but because there was a white officer involved, I feel like I must apologize for the stupidity, the racism, the culture that is hate. Because it does cross all boundaries. I have found hate from all colors. I have found hate in all areas. I have found hate in courtrooms. I have found hate in homeless shelters. You can't escape it. It's the devil. So it comes down to the devil. Where you find the devil at, you're going to find hate. You're going to find injustice. Right now in Alabama, one of the cases that I'm working, one of the hardest cases that I'm working, is the rape murder case out of Jackson County, where a white woman, now she does have a biracial baby that was, of course, took from her and sold out to the foster care system. She had 4 kids, in fact, removed from her care and sold out to foster care system so that Alabama could balance her state budget with that federal Title IV money. But let's get back to why she ended up having to kill a man named Todd Smith, who has had over 67 arrests on his record in multiple states. He was fixing to be indicted for being a part of, I guess you'd call it a murder or manslaughter, but he had injected a man with heroin, his own drugs, up in Tennessee, and then when the man OD'd, he went running out of the house, wouldn't even call an ambulance, so of course he died. He was fixing to get indicted up on charges for that, but meanwhile, he's putting ads out selling pit bull puppies, and my girl, Brittany, who her husband has just left her, her kids have been sold out to the state for slavery. So she calls this guy up. She wants a pit bull puppy because the house is lonely. When he gets there with the pit bull puppy, it comes down where he's locking the door. He ends up raping her for hours. She has 33 injuries inside and outside of her body. When she gets a message to her mom that she's in trouble, I need some help, her brother shows up. Then the brother is getting attacked by the rapist. And then while her brother is being choked to death, the rapist gets shot by Brittany, gets shot 3 times by Brittany. She calls the police, calls the ambulance, sits on the line for 26 minutes waiting for an ambulance to show up. Meanwhile, when the police get there, they tell Brittany and Chris to stop performing CPR on this sorry son of a bitch who has had over 67 arrests, killing people left and right. It just turns out that he happens to be a confidential informant for the Jackson County and the Marion County Sheriff's Department. Marion County in Tennessee, Jackson County in Alabama, they indict Brittany for murder, for killing her own rapist in her home. Now, I spent 2 years on this case just to get a stand your ground hearing, and they're not even going to do that until January, and they've got her murder trial already set for 2 weeks later. Now, how come you couldn't, up to this point, get a stand your ground hearing on killing the sorry son of a bitch in your own home while he's choking to death your brother? Meanwhile, Jackson County's only mad because they've lost one of their top confidential informants. He was slinging drugs left and right. He was bringing in lots of revenue. There is no justice. There's no justice. To me, it goes back to what I said before. For the poor in America, the only justice you can get is if you're lucky enough to pay the right amount of money it takes to get a lawyer to make a decision in that you feel is just for you. Now, the other side may not feel it's just for them. So it's not justice. It is who has the pocketbook that can bring about the decision that they want to make. When we spoke about, well, what about something happens to Jay-Z? Well, Michael Jackson's got a lot of money. I don't know that Michael Jackson's case was handled correctly. I know that Bill Cosby has a lot of money. I don't know if Bill Cosby's case was handled correctly. So there's times when money can help, and then there's times when money can hurt. So that's not justice. So how do you find justice in America? You're not probably going to like what I'm fixing to say, and that is this. You know, Brittany took out a bad guy. I think that's justice. I think it's justice for the man who was dead in Tennessee. He shouldn't have had heroin. He shouldn't have wanted heroin, and he damn sure shouldn't have had this guy wanting to inject it in him and be a part of it. I think Brittany found justice in America where she took out the trash. If you want to find justice in this country and perhaps justice in other countries, perhaps maybe we need to go back to the old ways where you take it into your own hands. Because if you call a police officer, the justice that you're going to find is only at the end of the barrel of that officer's gun. And the departmental regulations will cover whatever comes out of the end of that officer's gun. If you're having a mental health problem, you're having a crisis, it's even known in the neighborhood that maybe you've had problems. And so nobody knows what to do, so they call 911 for help. Maybe we need an ambulance because my uncle is having a mental health crisis. Guess who shows up? That officer with a gun, and what comes out the end of that gun is not justice. It is a bullet. and they're going to kill your uncle, and then they're going to walk away and say they saved themselves. They saved you, when all that was needed was someone to give an ear and a little bit of respect for a man who possibly had served this country, who had been injected with experimental drugs and vaccines, and then it created a mental disorder that he can't handle stress of life. So there is no justice to be found unless you take it into your own hands. You can't find justice in the court system, so why call the police? Only call the coroner. Let the coroner pick up the trash. Because there is no justice in America if you go through the badge, if you go through the roads, if you go through the DA, if you go through the court system, you're not going to find justice. You're going to find that you're going to be out of some money in that retirement that you thought you were going to get, because you're going to have to empty your retirement to pay the lawyer, so the lawyer can pay the judge and to pay the DA and to pay off whatever it was that happened, so that you can get out of trouble, which is justice for you, because you shouldn't have been there to begin with. But all of those other folks walking around paying for their lake home on your retirement fund. So the only justice, if you ask me, a fat white woman from Alabama who comes from a history of a family who has made decisions to take justice into their own hand, I'll tell you how you find justice. When that man is in your house raping you, putting his penis in your butt, your mouth, your vagina, and you get an opportunity to pick up a gun, you shoot that son of a bitch 3 times, once in the head. That's justice.
Now, Sherry,
if you find that someone is busting through your house through the front doors, you're sitting there trying to eat dinner, and some thug comes running in your house because he can see your big screen TV through your living room. You pick up something and you shoot him 3 times, once in the head.
Sherry,
that is justice.
Sherry, I want you to do 2 things. I want you to do 2 things for me, Sherry. I want you to
breathe, relax, shake, let it go.
I want you to do 2 things for me, Sherry. 2 things. You listening to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know that you're very passionate, so I want you to keep that passion, and then I want you to go over there and clean your mouth. I call this a gospel station. Now you can't use that kind of. Look here.
Yes, sir. I apologize, folks. Listeners, I apologize.
The Lord, my Jesus.
Hey, sometimes right here, truth got to be true.
We got to remember where we are.
I apologize. I should not have gotten so excited. But my justice, I still believe that is justice in America. Exactly. You're going to have to go find it yourself. And you can't call 911 because you ain't going to find it there. You wait till somebody calls the coroner to come pick up the trash. You take care of justice the way you feel like you need to take care of it. And keep your name out of it and keep yourself safe. Folks, that's all I can tell you, because you ain't going to get it in the justice system. So you take it for what I just said. You got to do what you got to do. Protect yourself.
You know what? She kind of got a point, bro. I remember.
Hold on, Cody. I'm going to put some more people. Hold on, I'll come back to you. Donna, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Hold on. We got 2 Donnas. I'm going to Donna. I'm gonna call you Whit. I'm gonna call you Whit. We got 2 Donnas. So Donna, I'm coming to you, Wick. I'm coming to you next.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You talking to me?
Yes. Your name Donna?
You gotta call him Flashlight.
I gotta call him Flash. Okay.
No. My sister needed she was speaking in tongue and she needed an interpreter.
I think she did very well with what she was saying. I think she did very well.
It was clear.
She gave it to you wrong. That's what we do.
It definitely was clear. So you know what? And I was thinking about, people say arrive, and it becomes just us. They get up and then they sit down because it don't affect them until it affects them, and then they want to do something. We get in positions, politicians, police, whoever you want to talk about. If we would treat unfair like it should be treated, then possibly you'll have some, but it won't be for everybody. That's just the way it is. So I agree with my sister in the language she was speaking.
I'm gonna read what Fire said, and then I'm gonna go to yeah. You Fire said, Fire Brown. She said, Raheem, you gotta understand what kind of fuel is on this. Makes people hot And she said, you know, it makes people hot. And you're absolutely right. I try to get Fire to call in. She's scared to call in, y'all. But we'll talk about that later. But Wick, what's on your heart? Wick, talk to me. Wick, we can't hear you. You got your phone muted or something. Wick, we can't hear nothing you saying, brother. I see your lips moving. Can't hear you, Wick. Can't hear nothing you saying. I see your lips moving, brother, but we can't hear nothing you saying. Try it again. No, not there. Hit the other button.
How about now?
Yeah, you're a little better. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, this is a hot topic.
It's real low, though. It's real low, though, brother. It's real low.
What's going on here?
There you go. Now you're cooking. Now you're cooking with grease. Can't fry that chicken in water, brother. Go ahead.
This is a hot topic, and once you start, you know, getting into it, you can't have this. You can't really have this conversation in the sanctuary. You know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
You got to go. You got to go to the club.
Exactly.
But you know, I hear what she's saying, and you know, I'm also an investigative reporter now. For the paper Black Star News, and it was like I think it was 3 or 5 years ago. I had did an investigation here in Yonkers, New York, where the police was just going wild. They were just beating on people and arresting them for just because they could. And I went up there and did the investigation, and to the point where I wrote an article, dial 911 and die, because it was people in trouble dialing the police, and when the police got there, either they was getting arrested or someone in their family was getting arrested, and nothing was being taken care of what they was calling for. So I hear what she's saying, and I don't know. Your house and your home is your castle. So I don't know how people can get indicted or going to jail if somebody is attacking you in your castle and you defend yourself. That's a hard one to be found guilty of.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. Tawanda, what's on your heart right now?
You better not ever talk about all I talk on the air.
Leonard, coming to you next, Leonard.
From this morning. But you know, it's just we really have to. These are topics that we really need to talk about over and over and discuss and make sure that that's the focal point, especially when we have airtime. We need to talk about, you know, real issues. We talk about a lot of stuff, but this is a topic that people are really, really scared to touch. And, you know, for instance, you know, let's talk about the Boston Dean case where he was inside his own home minding his business, and Amber Geiger came in and shot him. We don't understand the law enough because what we don't understand is when they charge a cop with murder, that cop is not going to be charged with murder for it. So that 10 years that she got, and they're going to file an appeal, and she's going to be able to get that appeal in 2 years. Amber Geiger is going to walk home a multi-millionaire because she's going to sue the state. Why? Because they charged her with murder. And we know that in the state of Texas, to be charged with murder, you have to prove that the intent to kill or premeditation. And a lot of these cases involving cops, even the other young lady that was just murdered, we're not charging them correctly. And first-degree murder is not the charge for a cop. Instead, they should have been charged with manslaughter, which still would have gave us a lenient sentence, but we would avoid these loopholes and avoid them walking in an appeal. We got to understand how qualified immunity is set up and how the law is. You can never, in most of these cases, we take like the Maya Braxton case that she was ran over exiting in a school bus. Even though there was Nathan's Law that prevented this, you cannot charge a driver with murder because you cannot prove this lady woke up that day and said that, oh, I'm going to intentionally go out and kill someone. And that's what I say. So we really don't understand the law, and we really need to understand the law, and again, be amended and modified these laws and just stand up for these families, because in numbers we can do better. But unfortunately,
until it affects or directly affects the family, people who cares.
Good deal. Leonard, what's on your heart right now? What's on your heart, brother? Talk to me. It's a lot that we're covering. And we're gonna get out of here in a minute, man. How much time? Y'all want to go until the top of the hour? Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, that's good with me.
Okay, good deal. Good.
I'm good. I'm cool.
Okay, good deal. Leonard, what's on your heart?
Well, first of all, I've been listening to the conversation, and I can honestly tell you, I somewhat appreciate Sherry's comment. Because that's the way we do it in the street. You understand?
Keep it real.
This is why you have things that are going on the way they're going on. Now, I've heard several people say a lot of things, and I know Tawanda and things like that, and working with cases and things like that. And we have to understand, we have to connect the dots. The reason why you don't have what you want is because you don't have the people over you concerned about you. Now, someone was talking about DKM, I believe, earlier today.
Yes, Cassandra.
And them. DeKalb County has a black CEO, a black sheriff. Matter of fact, they just got rid of the last one that they should have fired a long time ago, and appointed another black one, a black female. You have to understand that when we talk about it, sit with those people in charge and then see how they talk about it. They talk about it as protecting the public. We need this because of all of the badness in the community, and without these officers doing this job, everything would be chaos. But not one sheriff nor leader of any law enforcement agency has walked out and told their officers not to kill unarmed citizens. You know why? Because they don't believe in it. They believe they have the right to kill unarmed citizens. This comes with the badge. So you have to take that power away from them. And you can't take that power away from them if you are not voting. We talk about when is it going to change? When is it going to change? When you all start turning out at elections over 5%. But it will not change until you do. There's no reason for anyone to go back to a poll right now and vote Republican. But there are several of you that will go and do that.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody on this. I don't know if anybody on this call gonna go and vote no Republican.
First thing when people do when they get into office is, if you notice what they do, they mess with ethical laws and standards.
Okay.
Which gives them the permission to do pretty much whatever they want. Qualified immunity is the elephant in the room when it comes to law enforcement.
Okay.
That's a license to kill anyone you see fit. And laws don't prevent anything from happening. Let's get that straight. People are going to do what they want to do regardless of the law. Every time we have a situation here in, like, for instance, with the executions here in Georgia, you have a parole board. There's a board that decides that. And do you know they limit access to that board? You used to go have public meetings with that board to voice your opinion and all these types of things. But because we did not turn out and vote, you allow Republican governors and people of this mood and mindset to go in and say, you know what? We don't need the public messing with that board anymore. So let's make a law. Now they don't have to have public meetings. Everything is tied together, one way or the other. We can be very emotional after the fact, but you have to take all that emotion and put it in the front. Most people are not concerned about criminal justice unless they involved. I sat and reviewed hundreds of cases for organizations. Read lots of different police reports, have people inside police and law enforcement agencies that come out and give us information that the public never would have. Law enforcement is out of control because we have bought into the fact that police officers somehow are better than the common public. All this crap about an oath of office and all this is a bunch of crap.
Let me say something. Let me speak to that for a second, because I can only speak for me. I can only speak for me, and like I said, I lived around both sides. Lived in the hood. Lived on both sides of the spectrum. I know what it's like on both sides. Am I an expert? Absolutely not. But I do know what I do know, and I do know what I have seen. And a lot of the people that especially in the hood, man, a lot of people that I come in contact with, man, in the hood, they don't have that same regard for police officers, man. They just don't. They a lot of times what happens is when it could be a bunch of us sitting around. So when a police officer come, we'll get up and we'll move out of that space, not because we're afraid of. We just don't want to be in contact with them. We just don't want to be in contact.
And
with
I
them.
am that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten a lot better from working with police and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I let them know up front, I'm not a big fan of yours.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm not. You're not coming to my cookout. You're not coming to my cookout. You know, there's no need for you to come to my cookout because we ain't got nothing for you. It's just that's just the mentality.
And we just don't. Yeah. We don't trust.
Exactly.
That's the main issue. Yeah. And we have to really look at it from a practical point of view as well.
Oh. Mm-hmm. I'm just being honest, man. It's
different. You have activist people on the call.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So that is an entirely different audience
mm-hmm.
than the general public.
I get it.
Understand, okay, where's the problem? Why are we not getting justice? And then you'll find out why we're not getting justice, because half the people don't want to go to jury duty.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of people can't get involved because they're doing something probably illegal as well. Okay? This is why a lot of people don't get involved.
Mm-hmm.
And you have individuals in Congress and things like that right now that are not pushing the legislation that's necessary. Now, if, like, say, for instance, we have an open carry state here in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know police officers have not received any additional training on how to police in areas where there's open carry?
Mm.
The people that are going to be, and what I like about what Sherry said, and I want to kind of make sure I say this so people understand. A police officer is less likely to kill your child if he knows that his child will be dead by the time he gets home. Do you understand me?
Mm-hmm. Mm. And so you agree with her? You agree with her when it says take out the garbage, take out the trash?
Wholeheartedly, 150%.
Now, what do you say? What do you say to the people? What do you say to the people? And we got to keep this thing going. I got to keep it flowing. But my thing is, what do you say to the people with the mindset that say, well, you know, if you say that, then that's not the Christian thing to do. That's not godly. You to go out there and somebody kills. Thou shalt not kill. You shouldn't do that. You just not being a good Christian. You do that, you're not being a good Christian. What do you say to those people?
David wasn't a good Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And also, and I want to make this, I'm going to point it out to the rest of my brothers and sisters and my new sister Sherry that I'm just hearing today.
We adopted her.
The reason why Sherry talks the way she talks is because she's a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
And what she knows is she has every right in this world to stand up for her and her family to the death. She's not going to wait for you to turn her victimizer loose out of that courtroom.
I tell you one thing.
Think of that.
They run up and shit. They run up and sure how they're gonna get a couple of bullets.
Hey, they're gonna get more than pellets. Hey, can I interject here real quick?
Exactly. Leonard, we gotta keep it going, brother. We gotta keep it moving, man. Matter of fact, I'm coming to you next, Kurt. Let me go to Sherry right now. Sherry, what's on your heart?
Well, I'll tell you what, if I lived in Jackson County, what this brother is saying is right. I would have to sit there and take my rape, and then when I call the cops, get ready for the second rape because it's coming. Because in Jackson County, Alabama, it is the culture of the county and has been since the Scottsboro boys was ran over in the 30s. It has been the culture that if you're a woman, you take the rape. And if you fight the rape, you get charged. I can give you the names of multiple women who have come forward to me who got in trouble for attempting to file a charge against a rapist in Jackson County, Alabama. But I live in Coleman County, Alabama. And Coleman County has been known throughout this country. Many people have heard of Coleman County because you're white and you're part of an organization, a particular white organization. And in this county, if you come to my house and you want to rape me, then my brother, you better bring a bigger gun than me, because it's going to be a dog fight. And I got 6 pit bulls. And if you think you can get past my 6 pit bulls to get to me before I can protect me, my daughter, and my son, and God bless you. Because that meant that you was coming with a bigger Lord than that protects me. And that he's absolutely right. I'm arrogant because I'm white. I grew up white. My sister Brenda Hampton, who just yesterday, I went with her to Birmingham to receive an award. Now, Brenda's African American. She got an award for the Women Who Shape Alabama 2019, given to her because of her activism and work in the communities of Lawrence County and Morgan County. She has effectively saved the lives, future lives, of 100,000 water customers by single-handedly working to get enough community support to get 3M to cave and write us a check for $147 million to go buy a brand new reverse osmosis water treatment plant that will better clean the water that they're going to continue to contaminate daily, because the governors of Alabama and the Alabama ADM, Department of Emergency Management, and in any other department here in Alabama has signed off stating that it is okay to dump your chemical waste into our rivers and streams as long as you do it after midnight and before 4 a.m. Because there must be some magic fairy that comes and sprinkles a pixie dust that cleans that chemical from the water. Now, I have looked everywhere for this fairy, because when I find her, I'm going to kick her butt, because I don't appreciate the work that she's doing. I think that she's not been doing her job, because if you go into the town of Cortland, which is a rural farming community that used to have 1,000 residents, you're lucky if you find 400 now. They're dying at a rate of 2 to 3 a week in a small rural community, and no one gives a damn because they are mostly African American. And now I am honored to sit and stand with my sister Brenda Hampton as we work to try to, first off, clean the water, second, fight the black administration that is in this town. They had an opportunity years ago to clean this water. They had an opportunity and the money in their hand to remove and replace every contaminated water pipe that is in that county. Now, ask me if they did. No. They bought themselves chicken farms and big 2- and 3-story houses. And then they want to look me in the face and look these people in the face and say, well, we got you a new reverse osmosis water treatment plant. We'll have it built in 4 or 5 years. And I'm sitting over here in the audience going, okay, well, what are we going to do about these pipes that have been sitting here this entire time collecting the chemical contamination from your previous contaminating, from your previous water company? Are you telling me that this reverse osmosis system is going to be able to clean the water at the end of the pipe system that has been contaminated for 60 years? And they can't say a word because I must be a butt. I'm there just to stir trouble. It's just the fact that I drop knowledge that, hold up, even though you pour clean water into a dirty cup, guess what? It is a dirty cup, and that clean water becomes dirty. Has anybody ever tried to pull a dirty glass out of the sink and then go pour them some milk on top of some stuff that ain't been washed in 3 days? I don't think so. You'll usually wash that cup out before you pour your milk back in it. Now, come on. You can't find justice, because justice does not exist. If justice existed, me and Tawanda wouldn't have anything to do. I would still have a husband because I would have given him all kinds of attention. But right now, I don't have a husband because I didn't give him enough attention. He said I cared about others too much. I said to him he didn't care about himself enough to stay. So there is no justice, because we would not be where we are. Tawanda wouldn't have her job, and I wouldn't have this big mouth over here in Alabama because I was raised white, being white, and I come from a family who just couldn't keep their mouth shut. I've lost 2 jobs, 2 careers, not because I didn't do my job, folks. It is because I turned against my employer and ended up testifying against them in a court of law. I could have been this and I could have been that. And I could have had a 401k retirement. I'm 45. Ask me how much money I got in my 401k. Zero, because I don't have a 401k. Because I decided that it was in my best interest and in the best interest of the community to, number one, testify against my first employer, Walmart, because they weren't treating people right. So I became a secret witness for the EEOC. And for 3 years collected evidence and then testified against him in a court of law, federal court in Birmingham, Alabama. We won our case, but I lost my job. Then when I get a job at a hospital, which I will only say is a hospital in North Alabama, but it's the largest hospital in North Alabama because I'm under a gag order on that one too. I was given training to be a manager. I'd only been employed there 6 months when they put me in their management training program because I'm bad, boy. I can do my job. I'm brave and I'm courageous and I do my job. But don't ask me to go against my morals and do something I shouldn't do, because what's going to happen? It happened before. I start testifying against my employer, and guess what? I lost my job. So today I work as a custodian. I clean toilets and I cut grass so that I can keep this mouth. Because if you're going to fire the custodian landscaper from speaking out, then there's really no jobs left out there for me. And I'm going to have to apparently find a sugar daddy or someone
Sherry, we just
all the way in. See, go halfway in right here.
We just took a turn, Lord Jesus. We just took a turn. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Jesus. Riding on the Sherry, I just want to ask you one question. Sherry, and then we're gonna keep this thing going. Why you gonna kill Tinkerbell?
Well, I'll tell you what, Tinkerbell's got a problem. She sounds like she's a Republican, and she probably should have looked across the aisle and found some bipartisan support for her chemical contaminating of my Tennessee River. Tinkerbell has got a problem. And since she's from Disney, she's probably a pedophile too.
Okay, sure. Lord, Jesus, Lord. Wick, what's on your heart, brother? Come on, Wick. Keep it going, man. What's on your heart, man? Man, look here. Sherry got people on the thing tomorrow. Oh, I love Sherry. They speak, tell the truth. They just co-sign you everything you say, man. I love it, man. I love it. Wick, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
On that EEOC, because
you enjoy Sherry, but you got to support Sherry.
Absolutely. Hold on a little. We're gonna come back. We'll come back to you, and you're absolutely right with that. And we're gonna make sure we take care of that part of it as well. Wick, what's on your heart?
Yeah, it's good. You know, she stood up and she's a whistleblower. You know, and EEOC is a hard place to go to on our cases because a lot of times when we go to EEOC, they throw out our complaints in the garbage. I investigated them here in New York City and railed them against up the wall for them to start working out cases and going up against the employers and not siding with them. But then again, we have, you know, with the police, I mean, like I said, I'm in law enforcement 25 years. And when we get the patrolman firearm training, we all get the same training. All of us. Everyone gets the same training. So how come when you turn on your evening news, you never see black officers using their firearms as much as Caucasian officers? So I think that they talking about taking guns. They should do a study on most of these white officers who carry these guns, because they probably won't even qualify. And if you put on a uniform and if you are afraid to work in that uniform, you shouldn't have that gun. And if that gun is what makes you the man, you shouldn't have that job. And that's a lot of these cases out here today.
Exactly. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I'm glad that brother spoke up, because, you know, you have to reach out to all these people that are part of this community, this law enforcement community, There's a National Association of Black Police Officers. They should be at the forefront of this fight. That's where they should be, because they have the inside on who they know are dirty cops. They know what they're doing, and they know who been there too long and been getting away with too much. And every time I go and speak at an organization or what have you, or some type of forum, I usually ask two questions. I ask the question about training, and I ask the question about, has your leadership instructed you not to shoot unarmed citizens? People change their behavior if they know they have something at risk. The police officers still believe that they will be justified in the majority of the shooting, because all they get is positive support. They get legal representation. They can even get out with their pensions, their retirement, and everything. Sometimes they're even offered the option to retire in lieu of going before the court. So you have this system where this is why we needed to integrate these systems. Is because hopefully the integration of the system would improve it. But we need these brothers with these badges to start raising some hell about what they brothers in blue are doing. You need to be the one to arrest these people. You need to be the one to blow the whistle on these officers. You work with them every day. You're probably at their barbecues and doing all types of things and pretending like they not out here killing innocent men, women, and children.
They can't come to my barbecue.
That almost puts you on the level of an infidel. And so when we have to understand, and this is from one of my brothers who had sovereign immunity, who became a sovereign citizen. And I believe Curtis had brought up the Moors at one point in time. The Moors usually use sovereign security, and we try to do things within the law. However, if two sides are not going to agree on the law that is written, then you should expect war.
Good deal. Good deal.
And this is the only way to resolve an issue when the law of the land is not being adhered to.
Good deal. Let's keep this thing going, man. We got a few more minutes before we get out of here. Donald, what's on your heart right now, brother?
I listened to my sister Sharon. I wonder why Jesus took on Peter, because Peter had the same expressions. And then another thing, he'll cut you. So I love you myself. So I don't have much to say, brother. I've enjoyed the show, and there's a lot been said that we need to take in.
Exactly.
But I still can't find justice.
Still can't find justice. You see that, and that's the thing. The conversation is a beautiful conversation. I love the dialogue, but at the same time, at the end of the day, I would like for us to get to a place, and I would like to do this again, or as many times as we need to. But we need to find a place where we can actually find justice here in America. We need to find a place where we can just let our hair down. Those of y'all that have hair, ain't got no hair, but let your hair down and just enjoy. See, Wick ain't got no hair either. Curtis got a little bit of hair. Curtis got a little bit of hair left. I don't know what Curtis got going on there. But Curtis, what's on your heart, Curtis?
I heard some things spoke. Like a while ago, I was gonna move to Atlanta, and I heard my grandmama say to me, who's a Georgia peach, you better get off in your quiet place. So I followed the instructions and I prayed about it. You know what came to me?
What's that?
Son, why you gonna move to a place where the capital in this place is predominantly African American, but yet instead the atrocities that's committed is committed to your people, against your people.
Mm-hmm.
So how much real power do your community have there? I thought about that, man. I thought about when that cop told that lady on the side, I think it was 285, what are you so nervous for? We don't kill white people. We kill black people.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about that, man. I thought about this. Just on a street level. Let's just stay on a street level. Okay. If I'm a cop and my frame of mind is I'm a cop at the bottom, but I want to move up the chain, there's a good chance that I have all ambitions of becoming one day a judge. Is that safe to say?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if that's safe to say, right? If I'm a cop on a street level and I'm doing dirt and I get jammed up when I do dirt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I have the right to choose a jury trial or trial by judge. If I go by the blue line law, which really ain't a law, it's an unwritten law, but if I go by the blue line theory, I'm going to pick that judge over that jury trial. You know why?
Why is that?
Because that judge is 9 times out of 10. You know what? We even going to marginalize it a little bit. We're going to say 7 times out of 10. And I'm probably lying. I'm probably right at about 9 times out of 10. But that judge is a former police. He's a former cop. So he had a written blue line law that he has to go by.
Yep.
Right? So now if I'm a cop, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, hold on. I'm the cop, the judge, and the jury. Because when I go before that judge, hey, bro, can you help me out? How many people going to send their brother to jail? Or how many people going to sentence their brother like they would sentence some cat that live around the corner down the street that they don't even know? It ain't going to happen, man. And that's one of the reasons I hate to take rights from people, because I feel like our country was established on people having certain inalienable rights. I get that. But I think there's a larger and greater responsibility when you decide to put a badge on. I think it's a larger and greater responsibility that you have the people when you decide to put a bulletproof vest on. I think it's a larger and greater responsibility when you decide to put something on your hip that can completely dismantle a life in a matter of seconds. There's a larger and greater responsibility that you have to the people, to the children, and to the country as a whole. So I think when those cops get tagged up like that, when they get jammed up like that, I think their right to choose between a judge and a jury should be removed. They should have to sit before a jury, even if it's a jury of their peers. A jury. If you're going to do a jury of cops, do a jury of cops from a totally different state. I don't care how you do it, but they need to sit before a jury of the people that wherever they committed that crime, wherever they committed that murder, you get 12 people from that town right there that know the person that was murdered, that have at least an idea of who this guy was before he was murdered. Philando Castile, that was a crime. That was a street murder. That's what it was. We can't. Only thing wasn't there was the drug transaction that went bad. Come on, man.
That we know of. That we know of.
We got. Check this out. We got right now, right here, and it might have been on the national news, but they just told us today, a year later, that the cop that was murdered here in Baltimore City, a cop was murdered in an alley. The cop that was murdered, they still ain't closed the case. But the last report we got that was snuck out by an investigative reporter, like the brother that's on here right now by the name of Jane Harmon, who is one of the best investigative reporters in the United States of America right now, come to find out this dude was supposed to be testifying for the grand jury on 7 other cops that was dirty. So explain to me, please, because we got a cop on here right now. Explain to me how this dude is put on duty to work the beat the night before he's due to testify. Explain to me how this dude gonna shoot himself in the back of his head with his own weapon. with his own weapon, Raheem. Listen, if you want to control the police department, allow for the police department to be what's the word I'm looking for? Allow for the police department to be policed by the community for which they serve.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to be held at a higher level of scrutiny.
Exactly.
When they come, because they wear that badge.
Exactly.
Hold on. Let's go.
Your president just exonerated 3 military individuals who murdered Africans. He just waived it. And you know why? Because you have a white racist who supports white terrorism anytime the victims are black and brown.
Absolutely. Without a
hold on. What's on your heart right now? Talk to me.
Well, it all goes to the training, and when you get something happens between you and a police officer, if you don't get the right attorney that knows how to pick that case apart, you're not going to get any justice. In most of these police shootings, what should be put on trial is the police academy, because the academy trained that police officer. Then the questions to be asked is, what in-service training did that officer have with the use of that firearm? And then the most important thing that we get is a drill called shoot, don't shoot. And it's a whole design where you go through a maze and things jump at you, and you only have a split second to decide to shoot or not. And there's sometimes something might come behind the door and jump at you, and it might be a woman holding a baby, and you shoot.
Wow.
And that's the training you get. That's why I never hear it comes up in any of these shootings, but there's a whole lot of training go out to these officers that they take before they even hit the streets to be doing these shootings. Like I said, again, I know if I shot someone, I'd be under the jail.
Exactly.
I know this going out, you know.
Absolutely. Man, look here. This has been a great conversation, man. We actually about to get out of here for today, man. It is right now it's 8:57. So I'm gonna go around and give everybody an opportunity. And if I miss somebody, let me know, because I definitely want to touch everybody. But Tawanda, what would you like to say briefly? Tawanda, keep it real brief, because we gotta get out of here. What would you like to say in your closing?
I just want to say that we have to do more of this and expose them, because we don't have the same luxury as these Caucasians that go in and shoot up a school or do all these things. They're apprehended successfully while we're burying our people. So we have to expose them. Then the officers, they don't get fired; they get rehired to another district. I live in a state where we have no self-defense laws at all, and so they expect you to just sit back and wait for you to be dead, or wait for someone to come in the house and attack you. So we just have to change the system. And I found out that it's not illegal in a lot of states for officers, the arresting officers, to have sex with the detainee, whoever they arrested. It's mind-blowing to me. So we definitely need more exposure and more topics like this. It's highly critical.
And that's definitely what we're going to do. This is another episode of Around the Table. This broadcast right here is called Around the Table. And we sit around the table. We talk about stuff like this. And we don't hold back nothing, man. You can say, share it or cuss about 15 times, but that's okay. Share what would you like to say in your closing?
What I would like to say is this. It is easy for someone who grew up like myself, who had some bad things happen. I wasn't born this way with a mouth. It developed over time because I kept getting screwed over. It literally. And so it's easy for me to speak up, but I know that it's hard for others because they haven't felt that courage yet. They don't even know that they have it. They're so ingrained in living by what your neighbors say and think, God forbid you speak out because they're going to talk about you at the church.
Mm-hmm.
I think what should happen in our society is we should all take a deep breath and try to reset our clocks.
Mm-hmm.
We need to now understand that being quiet about things and not being vocal about things is not what's best for our culture.
Yes.
This is not the old days. This is the new days. And if you continue to act like this is 1855, then you are going to be treated the way that you're going to be treated today. You have got to understand that times have changed. You need to reach out, find your courage, and speak out. Stand up, if not for yourself, stand up for others. Because I assure you, you give that calendar just a few months, and you will be that person you're standing up for. Because at some point, they're going to run out of brown people and black people to shoot. At some point, when that happens, who do you think the gun is going to be pointed at then? Because they got to keep firing. Otherwise, they don't get their pensions. Because a cop will file for PTSD from the killings that he did so that he can get more money on his pensions. So in order for that to happen, somebody's got to die so that they can file for that PTSD claim, so they can get out of work early and get a retirement early, so they can go fishing, so that they can kill some fish. That's it. My opinion is this: reach down and grab whatever pair you got, be it a pair of
Sherry.
we're just going to leave it. Reach down and grab whatever pair that you got, and say to yourself that I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and that this person, this Jesus, this God has me, and it is better for me to fight for others and fight for myself than it is for me to sit back and watch Netflix and wait for something to happen for me. Don't wait for something to happen for you. You reach out and you go for it.
Sherry, we gotta go now. Sherry, we gotta go.
Leave my sister alone.
I'm so sorry, guys. I appreciate this opportunity.
No, Sherry,
look, just act right. That's what I got to say.
My thing is right here, Sherry. We definitely appreciate you, our sister, man. We definitely appreciate you being here. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight, man. Look at you. You just tell people exactly how you feel. Don't hold back. Just tell them how you feel. Tell them. Now, let me see. I'll make sure I get all my ladies. I got Sherry, Tawanda, in your closing. I got you already in your closing.
I just wanted to say that me and Sherry, we're going to do a show, and we got to figure out, I think we're going to do it on CET TV, where we talked about this on another show, Bridging the Gap, because we had a conversation, and she was like, there's so many white people that want to help out, but they don't know how to approach, and they don't know how to talk, and they don't know how to ask the questions of how they can help. And I felt like it would be a great opportunity to have both sides on, and it's going to be Bridging the Gap, and we're going to sit down and talk about how they can be a benefit to us and how we can be a benefit to them.
Bring them to around the table as well. Now, don't leave us out. Now,
I don't know if they can come on the church station. We can't come on church. We gotta go somewhere else.
No, man.
Look speak freely.
I believe they can control the tongue, man, enough to make it through at least an hour. If we go an hour,
we want everybody on this. Look, I'm trying to bring my brothers and sisters who are lost. I'm trying to bring them over. And a lot of those folks don't even like me. They don't. My own family don't invite me to Thanksgiving. But it is what it is. But when something's going to happen to a member of my family, I bet I get the first phone call. I bet I'm the one that they call and say, "Come save me." And I'm like, "I'll hold up. I'm having a turkey sandwich over here. I don't know that I can answer this phone." Because when I asked you for help, you couldn't invite me, and now you want me to jump in when you're on fire, and you think I got a bucket of water. I've got a bucket of water, clean water, that I have to take to Lawrence County because they got nasty water.
Sherry,
I do. I can help.
Sherry.
Yes, sir.
We gotta go, Sherry. We gotta go, Sherry. We gotta go. Sherry,
I love you guys.
I love you as well. Don't go nowhere, Sherry. Hold on for a minute. Hold on. Don't go nowhere. Let me see who else I got. Leonard, in your closing.
Man, it was a good call, and like we had discussed before, we need to get responsible individuals, and force them to come to the table. Sheriff and police chief and mayors must come to the table and explain to the public why they continue to allow this to happen.
Exactly, and that
is the only way. It is time for a revolution, and it can be done civilly, or you all need to arm yourselves. And I am very serious about that.
Absolutely. Around the table. Around the table. Wick. Donna, you still with us, Donna? Did we lose Donna? Flashlight. Yeah, I think we lost flashlight. Wick, in your closing, brother.
Yeah, well, it's like the brother was saying, it's a process, and when these things happen, you got to get everybody on board and hold everybody accountable. All the elected officials, all of them, those black police agencies, you got to get them to go out to come out to the community and explain what they are not doing. And I can tell you right now, there's a bunch of officers that look like you and I, but they're afraid. They know what's going on, but they're afraid to speak up. And that has to stop.
Exactly. Let me go. Curtis. Briefly, Curtis, man. You and Sherry, man, y'all can run a marathon, boy. Look at in your closing, sir. He thinking, y'all.
In the words of Dr. King said that we will not remember the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. What I just seen happen in Georgia alone says that what Leonard said, what Brother Wick said, what Sherry just said, what Tawanda just said, what I have said, what Donald said, and there's two more people I'm missing. But what Cassandra said, it all lines up, man. I leave y'all with this. We all living in a state where we allowed for a man, because of the color of his skin and the organization that he's a member of, that you'll never hear about it. I call them the SOC. Y'all can fill in the blanks. But because he's a member of this organization, we allowed for a man to run for office in which he is the sole proprietor and sole decision maker as to what votes are counted and what votes are not. He was never asked to remove himself from the seat. He was never asked to step down from the seat. He was never asked to do anything. And we allowed for a woman of color to be so blatantly disrespected that sent a message around the world, to the world, that the black woman has no place other than sitting down somewhere helping somebody else. We allowed for that to happen. We allowed for Caucasian women who were speaking up like Sherry to be so disenfranchised to a culture of people that people saying that they hate the lady and don't actually know why they hate the lady. I've seen it. I worked for the lady. I seen what that platform was about. I seen how they single-handedly robbed that platform, and people have been dying in nursing homes and being sent home from nursing homes to die at home, knowing that we cannot, as family members, meet them at their level of care. It's a shame, y'all. It's a shame what we allowing to happen in our great American society. And don't get it twisted, because I done been around the world twice. There's no country like this one. None.
Good deal. None. We got to get out.
It's all gravy.
Curtis.
We going to be good. We going to be all right. Because people like us on this panel. That's all I'm going to say, man. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm done.
Yeah, all right, good deal. Listen, let me see. Hey, Sherry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, I got to put you on the spot, Sherry. I got to put you on the spot.
Yes, sir.
Pray us out, Sherry.
Oh, my Lord. Dear Jesus, We have spoke this evening, Lord, about events that you had seen coming, events that you knew about thousands of years ago, events that I know in the spirit of Jesus Christ you don't want to have happen, Lord. I know we have people on this call that you are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week protecting because they're doing your work. They're trying to turn back the devil. These people that are on this call, the people that are listening to this call, the people that I want to be listening to this call, there's many of us trying to turn back the devil. Lord, I pray that you give us the strength, the courage, and the grace to do your work, Lord Jesus. Protect us as we step out there in front of the fire, in front of the people that want to stop us, in front of the people that want to quiet us, because we know that those people work for the devil. We know that those people only listen to the devil. We want, Lord, that you pray into those people's hearts the grace and the peace and the love that you have prayed into our hearts, so that we have the courage to stand up for others because we love them. We don't have to know their name, Lord, because we know we are them. They bleed the same blood that I bleed. They bleed the same blood that you bled on the cross, Lord. Please cover those that refuse to listen to your word. Cover those with the love and the peace on their heart so that it can change their minds and change their hearts and change their words, so that the people that were on this call tonight can find peace, can spend more time with their family, can spend time just loving you, Lord, instead of fighting this battle for you, Lord. I hope and pray that anyone that listens, if they have any love for their neighbors and for their family and friends, that they find that courage, that they decide to walk through the valley of shadow of death, knowing, Lord, that you will walk beside them, in front of them, behind them, because I know that you do, Lord. I don't fear, Lord, because I know that you're there, Lord. Please reach out and educate these people who are making poor decisions because they listen to a voice from the devil. Listen to a voice that they never should have heard to begin with because they walked away from yours, Lord. Bring them back to your home, your house, and your spirit. In God's name, amen.
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 Yeah, see, y'all heard a couple of cuss words, but y'all didn't know she was a preacher. Y'all didn't know she was a preacher.
I know.
She's a preacher too now. Y'all didn't know that part, boy. She's a preacher. Preacher, sister. Amen. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Okay, we're about to get out of being silly. We're about to get out of here for today. It's been a great broadcast, and we have to do this again. And I'm gonna ask everybody that's a part of this and that listen to this to please share this broadcast on your page, on any social media that you have. Please share it, and make sure y'all make that happen for me if y'all don't mind doing so. Listen, it is now 8:12. What is it? 9:12. Lord Jesus, 9:12. Another hour went by me. 9:12. You're about to exit around the table, but before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great night and a better tomorrow. We're going to end as we begin with a song. Let me see what song I'm going to play. Let me see. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put this up right quick. And now we're about to, as a matter of fact, I'm not going to play a song. Just going out of here. Y'all have a great evening. Love you. See you tomorrow.
You know, the world today is in a bad